Yo, what is good, my Quick Crypto family and my Coin Factory family? Back once more with another daily Casper and crypto live stream. And one thing that I did speak about in my live stream yesterday, and equally what I mentioned in a video that I just published about 2 hours ago now, is I have come to the understanding, at least my personal belief from what I've seen in the community, is a lot of people in Casper are sleeping, are fading the Casper Industrial Initiative, the KII. They are, for me, from what I understand about business, are going to be a pivotal part in bringing more adoption to Casper, in particular institutional adoption as well. And because they have nothing concrete out just yet, a lot of people are, choosing to ignore them, and also because they are meant for institutions, institutional clients, there's a lot of stuff they cannot publish. So it's really hard for us to get a proper idea of what it is they are really doing behind the scenes. We do know a lot. In my opinion, we know enough, but of course, we're greedy, as we should be, and we want to know more. In today's stream, though, we're going to be going into a little bit more detail about all the big news that's come for Casper recently regarding, again, there'll be a bit of an overlap with the video that I just released regarding the SEC effectively giving the green light for Casper, as the SEC has determined that proof of work assets are commodities and not securities, which is already, we know that, but having actual confirmation of such is a very big thing. We have developments in the United Arab Emirates, and also how that is big for the KII and Casper as a result as well. And many more developments of Casper all in all, 10 BPS, smart contracts, you know the deal, all the big stuff coming for Casper right now. And equally, we have a post courtesy of Greg, who put us in my free community. Again, if you want to find out a lot more ahead of time, come check out the free community Discord server here, link in the description, YouTube homepage and also in the chat. And you will see some of these posts that we talk about in these streams ahead of time. This post here talking about how investors face one last test this week, being Friday, being today, with $4.7 trillion worth of options set to expire, which is, again, a very significant deal. And we'll get into the significance of this post in a moment. But as always, of course, if you enjoy the daily crypto and Casper updates, trying to keep up to date with all the market developments and whatnot, then leave a like, share with your friends and subscribe for more, and for warning or for notice for everyone as well. If you want to be even more locked in and maximizing the benefits you can make from crypto with a lot more in-depth insight into these markets as well, I've got a community here. Join Coin Factory, to which it is you can join for free 7-day free trial, and we provide a lot more in-depth insight in there as well. On top of everything we already provide here, we also provide more alpha institutional documentation, provide trade alerts, and much more. And we also do weekly live streams. Our next weekly live stream is going to be tomorrow around 2 p.m. BST. So if you want to find out a little bit more, get a little sneak peek behind the curtains, what we provide in there, 7-day free trial link in the description, on my YouTube homepage right here, and also in the chat as well. Come check it out for free and see what more we have to offer. With that being said, welcome everyone to the stream. Hope you're having a very good day and looking forward to today's Casper content. Because right now on the market, actually, kind of red, truth be told. Bitcoin down 0.12%. Other assets are currently down as well. Casper is one of the few assets right now that, while not a lot, is currently up 0.82% on the daily time frame, valued at 7.86 cents, which is a good thing to see. We did see that we saw Casper correct down to level of support earlier, around 7.5 cents. We saw a lot of buyers around here, a lot of buy volume. So it looks like Casper right now is seemingly trying to make another rally towards a higher price target right now from the looks of things, which is good to see. Hopefully it continues in that fashion. Welcome back, Mr. Mars, my man. Again, hope you're having a very good day. You too, Stun Noma. Hi, my man. Welcome back. I heard a rumor in the Discord channel today that Mr. Mars created that Quick Crypto is still angry about the Boston Tea Party of 1773 and hates our freedom. Yeah, sure. That rumor has been started by Mr. Mars, and it's going to be carried on by everybody else in the community because they know how to get under my skin. And also, our welcome to Quick Crypto is actually Wallet 2, referring to this wallet here. Oh wow, that is very surprising. Oh wow, look, Quick was playing off, it wasn't him. No, it's very surprising that Wallet 2 here has bought some more Casper today, or at least within the last 24 hours. When was this done? Did it happen yesterday? No, this was today. That's very interesting because this account, speculated to be Binance's account, typically only ever scoops up Casper on every Monday and Thursday, typically between the hours of midday to 2 p.m. British Standard Time. And then yesterday we saw them scoop up 2 million Casper at 9 a.m. for where I'm in my region, but then also today. So scooping up smaller portions, but off hours, if you will, is interesting to see. Maybe they're trying to scoop a little bit more because they bought it off hours in the first place. I can't obviously say for sure because it's not me that owns this wallet. That wild speculation from Mr. Miles there. But either way, we are seeing the addresses right now. They're starting to rally up a little bit, which is quite good to see. I think it's based off the SEC news, off the KII, and what's ultimately coming to Casper very, very soon. I think why you're seeing the rally in wallets right now, 513,000. And equally, these addresses are starting to rally up more and more as well. Some purchases of about 1.6 million Casper today as well. That's the biggest one here from the supported Binance wallet. Buying it off hours is very interesting though, to say the least. But with that being said, Casper right now still doing quite well. Adoption in hash rate right now has fallen off a little bit, but at the same time, I think it's a matter of time it'll come back following 10 BPS, following the better mining hardware that comes out within the next month as well. What's up, Crypto Man? Hope you're doing very, very well. Welcome back. You too, Lau. Yo to you too. He's wallet 2 and plans to swap it all for XRP the days before the 10BS hard fork. There's nothing I could think of worse. That would be the worst thing anybody could ever do. Switching off Casper before 10 BPS is absolutely mental. Wild rumors, yes, and you need to stop spreading them, Mr. Mars. Do proof of work with pre-mines count as commodities? It's a very good question. Well, basically, in conjunction to what I spoke about here, this statement here was predominantly, I'm going to get into it more in a moment, it's ultimately just talking more so about proof of work mining activity, not exactly the action of pre-mines, or at least that's not what was covered here, but it's also talking about the whole idea of protocol mining, and fact being that whether you're a solo miner or mining in a liquidity pool, the act of you mining is not deemed as a breach of security. It's so therefore it'd be a commodity. I would imagine that pre-mines would count as, well, it would ruin the decentralization of such, definitely. Would it count as a commodity? It's a very, very good question. That's something that is worth looking into definitely a little bit more. See if I can try and find an answer for you over the next few times. He'll soon change the channel to Quick XRP. No. Quick Crypto is a name for the fact of being that it can be diverse. Quick Crypto is the name because originally the channel actually started on Gala and then switched to Casper because Casper is obviously superior. But there will be a time, in due time as well, and I'm saying this already, that I'll be making more videos on this channel. I don't think I'm going to make XRP videos because, well, I know what I need to know about XRP. But I'll probably make videos on other crypto projects on this channel, whether it be Hedera HBAR, Ondo, other projects maybe that I haven't just announced just yet, maybe some gaming projects as well. But not XRP. See, getting in my head now. But Casper will still definitely be my biggest conviction and will be the asset that controls and dominates all the information on this channel. But for some diversity, I will end up expanding it very soon as well. Well, Andy, everyone, hope you're doing very, very well. Today I got 1,638,101 Casper. Holy wow. That is insane, Andy. Congratulations, definitely. That is massive, massive news. Keep chugging, my man. I'd love to hear that. Yes, keep going. What's up, Falcon, my man? And to you too, welcome back. You will never convince me that KDA is a commodity, even if it's a proof of work. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a fine line to be said. I think, for me, commodity, the element of just being completely fair launch, where you have no pre-allocation, no pre-mining, any of that, that for me is just what it should be. So KDA, while being a proof of work, had pre-mining. Therefore, understandably, you cannot say, you can make the argument it can't be a commodity. Or at least it shouldn't be deemed as one. But again, be that as it may, we'll get into the sources for today now after our pleasantries. Welcome back everyone to the stream. So our first post here from Casper Facts. Highlights of Casper activity. We saw a massive spike in activity on chain today, which is interesting to say the least. Very interesting to say the least. I didn't get the joke. I'm guessing it was that you didn't actually have that much Casper. Oh, wait. Right. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Yeah, Andy A just announced that he's now wallet number 2. There you go. Yeah, that was slow for me. I apologize. Yeah, congrats, Andy. Hopefully you can share some for the rest of us, though. Yeah, Falco caught onto it. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, jokes aside, back into the content. We can see Captain Casper Facts here highlights that we saw a massive spike in chain activity today, which is very, very good to see, with 515,000 transactions within 1 hour. Keep in mind, for one Bitcoin is only capable of 6,000 transactions per day, and calculate that in 1 hour. But equally, this is Casper without smart contracts, without stablecoins, and without 10 BPS, and then Dagnite and everything else as well. So this is still Casper in its infancy. When we have these developments, and it sounds like a broken record, I'm sure, when you hear when it comes, but the fact of the matter being is that is what we are waiting for. And when it does come, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and the when is soon. You have smart contract testnets coming out in the next 14 days or so. You have 10 BPS coming out onto the mainnet, the Crescendo hard fork coming out in the next, month and a half or so, end of April. That's the kind of rough time we've been given right now. Smart contract onto the mainnet as well will probably release similar time frame as well, sometime in Q2, and stablecoins as well. So all the big use cases that give Casper more adoption and development are coming out within the next 3 to 4 months, give or take. And then you've got Dagnite and much more as well. And then you've got the KII, and as the title states as well, KII to launch Casper initiatives in 2 months. Don't sleep on KII and Casper. We'll get to that, of course, in the stream as well. That is, again, it's ultimately highlighting that, again, the timeline for smart contract is around, seemingly right now, around 2 to 3 months or so. And therefore, the KII have already confirmed they've got a lot of initiatives and projects already ready to launch. They're just waiting for ZK Opcos, waiting for the smart contracts. But this is a very good sign for the adoption Casper can see when you have the use case that comes back to it. And as a result, you also see ecosystems like KRC20 as well. These start to sort up more so as well when Casper gets the adoption come back to it as well. If we look at Casper right now on CoinMarketCap, we have been seeing, of course, some extra, developments on here. We know that the Binance button for buying on here is up here, not for me because I'm in UK, but we can see Casper right now. Volume's only at 48.35 million 24 hours, which is not ideal. We're giving it higher volume. It's now seeing a lot more volume though, with the 2 big exchanges here of Bybit and BitGet, which is good because remember the KEF did confirm that what the likes of Binance and Coinbase want to see is higher volume for Casper, but in particularly on the higher big top exchanges, being the likes of Bybit, BitGet, and also Kraken as well. So seeing high volume with these 2 is a good sign that maybe the likes of Binance are gearing up. Again, for me, it's a matter of time. We'll see when the market reverses. I'm sure with the developments of Casper probably coming back as well, you'll probably see Binance lift. And again, wallet 2, Andy's wallet, or expected to be Binance's wallet here, this wallet, to our knowledge, the average is about 11.9 or 12 cents. So there's also potential that when Casper, in due time, which I don't think will be that long now, does surpass that average price as gets to 15 cents ago, whatever it may be, that may be a good time for wallet 2, if it is Binance's and not Andy's, to list the project, a spot listing for Casper finally. But yes, volume right now we can see a lot of high volume. The top 2 exchanges, good to see. Unfortunately though, MEXC being seemingly the biggest manipulator of Casper price right now, it's at 33.29, almost a third, or basically a third of volume is being done through MEXC. They're controlling Casper. It's nothing new. It's frustrating. But it's good to see that these 2 leads are higher than usual. But either way, but that being said, as I mentioned in a video that I released 2 hours ago, which you haven't watched that, definitely go check that out. Made a video here where the SEC effectively green-lighted Casper's takeover, confirming Casper is not a security. You can see in the post here, a huge win for proof of work and Casper. Casper is officially SEC resistant. As SEC has confirmed, proof of work Bitcoin mining does not violate securities laws, which is also therefore very, very bullish for Casper. Because this has actually been a massive grey area. While we all believed as such, having the official confirmation from the SEC saying, mining proof of work assets are not a security or does not violate securities law is a green light. Therefore, that mining Casper equally is not a securities law, also therefore playing into the fact that Casper is a commodity and not a security. Therefore, meaning the CFTC are the industry, the agency that controls commodities, and SEC controls securities. So therefore, while we do have the industries like the KII, who who are going to be meeting or already have potentially met with the SEC Crypto Task Force. Which is the whole thread here, which I've already got in my community, highlights, Johnny, who's the executive and vice president of the KEF, basically just saying to the KII, you don't need to go to the SEC, because Casper is a commodity, and that's not their jurisdiction. And, they kind of agree with that as well. But either way, because the SEC are now taking a more active approach in crypto, I think it's a good thing the KII did approach them at least, and also are approaching other agencies, institutions, and others to discuss Casper and the projects being built on it, some relating to energy trading and other business. Again, we'll come back to this a little bit in a moment. But it's a very, very big deal. Speaking of the SEC, actually, again, we did see, or at least I think it's still ongoing right now, they have their Crypto Task Force regulatory roundtable happening today. Basically kind of the first of, I believe, a series of maybe 4 or 5, where they're basically just discussing, what's happening and also what framework they need to lay out to prevent it happening again in the future. So again, we're seeing the developments coming through more and more, which is good for the space, and equally more so now for Casper as well. So we can see in this, again, I made the video just on it right now, so you get probably a better summary there, but in this post here, the statement from the SEC, the US Securities and Exchange Commission, statement on certain proof-of-work mining activities, published yesterday, March 20th, 2025, ultimately talks about the fact that what was previously a bit of a grey area is now as light as day. This guidance here, the guidance of this statement here from the Division of Corporation Finance highlights that is focusing specifically on covered crypto assets, which I would therefore identify as, the likes of Bitcoin and that sort of stuff, which are essential for the operation and security of public permission and networks. The statement aims to provide a regulatory clarity on protocol mining. Protocol mining, which refers to the mining of these assets. So protocol mining refers to the mining of Casper, the mining of Bitcoin and so forth. So it's trying to provide clarity to actual mining of a crypto asset. To which right now, if you mine Casper, you do get rewarded Casper. You get rewarded, I think it's 62 Casper right now, if you mine Casper, if you check it out. Yeah, so every block you mine for Casper, you get a reward of 62 Casper. Now, in due time, similarly to Bitcoin as well, all of the asset will be mined up. All the Casper will be mined up sooner than Bitcoin's, because they've got a more aggressive emission schedule, but it will be mined up. At that point, therefore, Casper has more longevity, because Casper will have an infrastructure that will let it, allow you to mine the block. When you mine you're not mining Casper in the exact sense. What you're doing is you're mining the blocks, and you get rewarded Casper. But you're mining the blocks as a gas fees. So therefore, if Casper's got a lot of volume, it's got a lot of adoption and whatnot, and you're mining blocks, you can end up getting the gas fees for transactions taking place on chain, and therefore get a reward from that, as well as extra Casper, depending on how soon the adoption comes through. But ultimately, protocol mining highlighted here, this whole body of text, quite an extensive part here. To summarize it, it explains how proof of work consensus mechanisms operate within public permissionless blockchain networks. It talks about how proof of work incentivizes miners to validate transactions by rewarding them with newly created covered by assets, like how you could receive Bitcoin or Casper, you would mine a block. And, at least in Casper's case, you mine the block and you get rewarded Casper inside of it, but you're not mining Casper per se, you're mining the block and get rewarded Casper for that as well. The whole process of mining actually, and the best thing as well, that's why, we love proof of work here, the whole process of actually mining secures the network. This is what indicates Casper security and adoption, hash rate. Proof of stakes have their own other mechanism, and I don't trust it at all. They're a centralized authority, so ultimately if the centralized authority can keep it secure. But this here is the miners keeping Casper adopted, keeping it secure. So that's why hash rate is arguably the most important indicator when you're looking at Casper to see if it's a good project or not. You look at the all time, you see how it soared, from last year, Christmas time, to 81. On December 1st, just around 100 PH. We're now about 15 months later. We're now at a 12, 30. We've seen a 15x in that since then. The hash rate is a very important indicator. But it also highlights in this post as well, this statement from the SEC, this announcement that miners, whether you be a solo miner or in a mining pool, because you are utilizing your own power, your own computation powers, therefore you're contributing yourself, and therefore you're the ones who are directly contributing to the network security and transaction and whatnot, rather than relying on a centralized authority. which therefore makes it decentralized. Therefore, it means it cannot be a security because, it's a multiple group of people doing it themselves. So you can see here in the post itself, the most important part here, the division's view on protocol mining activity. So this whole body of text here. It is the division's view that mining activities defined in this statement in connection to protocol mining under the circumstances described in this statement do not involve the offer and sales of securities within the meaning of section 2 bracket A bracket 1 of the Securities Act in 1933. Ultimately just saying the actual act of mining Casper, of mining Bitcoin, that act in of itself is not a security. So in the result, so in that regard, therefore, it will give more credibility to, what Casper actually is, because Casper is a proof of work. So if the act of mining Casper is not a security, then therefore that means Casper as a coin, as an asset itself cannot also be a security. It's got to be a commodity. Because if what you have to do to actually get a hold of Casper by mining it, that act itself does not violate securities laws, but the actual asset itself cannot be a security. Unless it's sold in some illicit way, which it has not done, and I doubt it will be. I hope it won't be. But that is ultimately the long and short of, the SEC giving the green light to Casper, which is a very big deal and potentially why Casper is performing relatively well right now on the daily market. Again, it's just one of those days, but I do think it's going to bring a lot more clarity to Casper going forward as well. And also it's going to be a very big deal. Everything else coming out as well. We've got some updates here. More clarity about 10 BPS. Again, the mining side of things. Mining, of course, while my understanding of mining is probably not as broad as other people's in this community, because I'm not a miner myself, I do my best to try and learn more about it, and I'm also happy to get educated more about it as well. I did see that Andy sent me something earlier, which I will be reaching out to Andy. Just announcing it here on stream anyways now, but I'll reach out to you later on, Andy, to ask if you could break it down a little bit more for me, maybe just give me a bit of understanding of exactly what's going on with the your solar powered miner. But yeah, either way, the mining side of things are very big deal and very, very important. We've got more posts about that as well. A video here which could be playing out as well from Shy, where they explain MEV resistant networks, which is again a very big deal. More updates as well, a lot more, and then we've got the nitty gritty of the KII, which is the actual the in and out of this stream, the whole premise of the stream today, and much, much more as well. And also, once more, the misconception that a lot of people have in this community about what block DAG is, what DAG is, and what Casper is as well. James Ball is, a relatively well-known KOL influencer who is, seemingly misinformed about Casper, and while seeming to be educated about it, he's refusing to acknowledge it. But we'll get into that again in just a moment. I'm going to answer some questions real quickly first, though. Imagine Wallet 2 wants to invest all their available capital, but decide to lift very soon. They would likely buy it off their usual schedule. What do you think for your behaviour nonetheless? I do understand your theory there. I really do. It's not the first time we've seen Wallet 2 buy out of business hours, so to speak. If they bought a sizable portion, and I'm talking, above 20 million Casper off peak, off business hours, then I'd be like, oh, that's a bit suspicious. Buying such a small amount, I'm like, maybe I had extra capital, just throw it at Casper because, they're getting ready. Ultimately, it is definitely suspicious, and I do agree with you. But, understand once more, don't be emotional, be logical. If it is Binance, it could be a good sign of such, but either way, we do know in due time they will be listed Casper. Although, again, it might be Andy's wallet. Again, maybe it's Andy's wallet. How much percentage of your portfolio is in Casper as of now? Last I checked, is 70%. It went down a little bit a while back because I got more into the meme coins. I made profit from that, which I did talk about a bit during my streams a while back. And then I cycled back because the meme market's kind of fallen off quite a bit right now. Hence why we've gone into, in my community here, we're now talking about, leverage trading and whatnot, as opposed to the degen trading, because degen trading right now is not profitable. It's very PvP right now. So if you want to find out more about the leverage trading, we've been making very good gains from that as well. Check out the community here again once more. But I transferred the gains and winnings that I made through that into Casper again. So I think it's about 70% right now. That's my aim right now, to have at least 70% or 65-70% in Casper, and gearing up to its big catalysts and developments, which again, not far off. I'll be cycling more capital into Casper, in anticipation for the pump. I've got a fever and the early prescription is more Casper. Hey, you and me both, definitely. I have 42 Casper when millionaire. 42 Casper. I mean, to make you a millionaire of 42 Casper, you know, that is, to get the calculator out, because, you know, we're doing that more so now, and I kind of like doing it now. A million. I'm probably doing this wrong as well, actually, but oh well. See if it does. You want to see... I'm definitely doing this incorrectly. I mean, I imagine 42 Casper. I mean, owning Casper in of itself is great. How much to be a millionaire, 42 Casper? If I'm honest, I don't think that's possible. I mean, I'm going to assume that you're joking, but at the same time, I'll answer with my honesty. Casper right now has a max supply of 28.7 billion, which is considerable. So, you know, if you have only 42 Casper, you know, that would mean, you know, the amount of you'd have to see for Casper for that 42 to reach a million is ridiculous. And the maths is not hard to do, but the maths is not mathing in my head. But the long and short of it is definitely not enough money in the world to turn 42 Casper into $1 million. But again, that's not to say that Casper's not a, you know, worthwhile investing. In my personal belief, again, not financial advice, I am trying to de-save as much Casper as I possibly can in preparation for when the reversal does come through, and when Casper does end up being valued at a 1 trillion market cap. Not this cycle, realistically speaking, because only Bitcoin's there, and I'll be surprised if any other asset this cycle does reach 1 trillion. But I think Casper, in due time, in the future to come, will reach a trillion market. I think Casper equally can still do very well and get a high market cap this cycle as well, and surprise people because of the KII. So I'll actually get into some of those posts right now before I circle back again. So I'll get some of the posts again in a moment. I'll highlight this part of the KII firstly, though, before we get to this stuff here. It's the INATBA. Of course, we saw that Casper was nominated for the most innovative blockchain award solution for 2025. I think it was 29th of January, which they did end up losing out to 1inch, but then Casper got redemption at the Crypto Expo EU event. But it highlighted here, how will EIDAS 2.0 shape digital identity? What role will blockchain play? Find out how INATBA's new podcast, Identity Talks, in the debut episode on March 25th, which is only 4 days away from now, at 4 p.m. CET. Experts will be talking about this particular event, the EIDAS 2.0. KII applies here. EU citizens need to maintain absolute sovereignty over their identity data, sharing only cryptographic proof as needed, which Casper could verify quickly and securely. Casper Block DAG, truly decentralized, censorship resistant, nature reduces reliance on centralized servers, mitigating risks and data breaches of or control by a single entity. Ultimately, because Casper is a block DAG, because it's truly decentralized, it has an extra level of control of protection. One thing that I come to understand, and why my narrative on Casper switched a little bit more, so I've been saying recently that Casper's fighting an uphill battle because they're going against what, you know, seemingly Wall Street institutions want, right? And while there's definitely truth in that, I've overlooked the fact that governments and Wall Street, they want control. Most definitely. There's no doubt about it. But similarly, there are also hundreds, if not thousands, of institutions out there that don't want to have overreach and oversight by governments. The reason why the KII is formed was to prevent bad actors. The reason why KII was formed and they want to leverage Casper is to protect themselves, protect their clients from government overreach and bad actors. And that's what you can achieve with truly fair launch decentralized projects that are scalable, like Casper's and its block DAG architecture. You know, Casper could link to EIDAS and provide a decentralized, scalable, and secure block backbone for identity management and trust services, addressing the regulations needed for speed, reliability, and cross-border interoperability. Casper is deemed the perfect fit for, dare I say, for crypto, and majority of these centralized systems that actually could have a decentralized twist to it with Casper that can make it that much more efficient. It will be efficient enough with Casper as it is because it's already quick enough, and then it have the extra layer of protection because it is decentralized. That's what the KII has a vision with Casper, and they've got a lot of big projects coming out as well. I mentioned already they're meeting with the SEC as well as many others to talk about Casper. An announcement was made yesterday or 2 days ago where Captain Sats highlighted, imagine if Paul Van Son, who's the chairman of the KII, and the crew could convince some of their partnerships of DII Desert Energy to build on Casper's industrial layer, which again would be a very, very big deal. Well, these are the partnerships, for reference here. You got the likes of E.ON, Shell, DHL, or the likes of Bosch, the likes of Hyundai, and many, many more notably massive institutions. And also, just for reference, I did mention this in my video also as well, but KII, DII Institution Initiative, they will have many NDAs. So while there's a lot of stuff we can't find out from what's going on in the project right now because of NDAs, there's also a possibility of such that there are partnerships that we don't know about because they are not legally allowed to disclose them. So these are already some massive institutions, Shell and DHL being arguably the two biggest ones that I can just see quickly here. But there are going to be many, many more, arguably, I mean, this is speculation, but I would like to believe there's going to be many, many more that are going to be coming through with Casper as well. Many, many more that are not being disclosed here, that are behind the scenes. So Captain Sats asked here, imagine if, KII can convince these partners to to build on Casper's industrial layer. And the KII responded to saying that group, all of them, so all these people here, that group all meets together again in about 6 weeks' time in Abu Dhabi. And what I didn't highlight in my video, which I knew, but I actually just glossed over it, which I don't know why I did, and Greg highlighted to me, is that in 6 weeks' time, it's around about the same timeline that the 10 BPS hard fork crescendo migration will have completed itself. So there's a potential that KII have this meeting scheduled, for the perfect time for when 10 BPS comes out. You see how it's functioning on the mainnet, and now then give their industry clients a more visual perspective of what currently can be done with Casper, the speed it can currently conduct at, and what is necessary for their solutions. The solution that needs scalability while also being decentralized. If Casper can achieve the scalability element with 10 BPS, which it will be able to do, and the institutional clients can see that, you'll see with the smart contracts coming on board, likely a lot of adoption coming through very, very soon. They do mention, they talk about Casper in the meeting for sure, and I say that because, as highlighted already, I am in Vi, highlights here. I must tell you, we are working on most of these projects from 2015, maybe even longer, but Casper solved our issue of implementation. So a lot of these projects here have been, on their blueprints, if you will, for over 10 years. And all they're waiting for is ZK Opco implementation. They're waiting for smart contracts. And KII announced, yes, that's all they're waiting for. And that's coming out in 2 months' time. Gigawatt, ZTEX, KMIF. You got Parametric Insurance Platform. You got Olive Chain. You got K Airspace 3D, Asset Mint, which is real estate market. WarpCore, which is cross-border payments market. That's a very big one, WarpCore. I think it's the biggest one in this space. KII believes that WarpCore on Casper is going to make XRP irrelevant. Not immediately, not overnight, but in due time potentially. If they deem that Casper is as quick, if not faster, than XRP and its competitors, while also adding more security because it's centralized, truly decentralized, you'll see more adoption to Casper as opposed to XRP. So again, there's a lot more that KII can be bringing to Casper, which is why I'm very, very bullish on the KII and why I think that adoption for Casper could soar quicker than we expect. Because what we're waiting for, one of the biggest catalysts for Casper is smart contracts. I mean, we're saying it because we'll see more adoption, but we have been overlooking the KII literally have all their projects raring to go, all in the smart contracts. Majority, if not all of these, are ready to go, just waiting for smart contracts. Once you get them coming out, you'll likely see them come through very, very quickly. You've already had a confirmation from the KII, who went to Abu Dhabi back in December 9th, so about 3.5 months ago or so. They showcased the Gigawatt stablecoin there to their energy industry clients and colleagues, and it was well received. We also got confirmation here from WarpCore that the UAE commits a 10-year, $1.4 trillion investment framework in the US after meeting with Trump. Dubai launches pilot project to tokenize real estate assets on blockchain. The UAE's capability on crypto, and the KII responded here. Shout out to Mr. Casper Frog here for this scoop. A KII working group is actively involved in this space. The KII working group is actively involved in the real estate market in Dubai. That is Asset Mint. That's real estate. This working group that's actively participating in Dubai, using Casper as the base to tokenize a large building and also a small solar park as a trial in UAE. So that is one of the biggest scoops we've had yet with, KII, which is there actually are already applications taking place with this initiative for Casper right now. There's already a working group actively involved in this space, and they're waiting for smart contracts to come out before they can actually launch it in full scale. And that's months away now, 2-3 odd months away now. We're seeing confirmation of such seemingly around Q2, some say Q3, for smart contract implementation on Casper. I think Casplex and Igra Labs are going to be Q2, and maybe Casper's actual base layer smart contract is going to be coming out in Q3. But that's going to be an extremely bullish time, and that's also are they going to correlate and link up quite seamlessly in time for the market reversal when you like to see more volume coming back following the regulatory clarity, the policies being implemented, the market reversal, and much, much more. And the adoption coming through with crypto, the losses all being dropped, ETFs coming through as well. The very, very big deal. Casper's seemingly biggest market is UAE and energy. They have other markets as well, from real estate to supply chain, to exchange, to cross-border payments, and much, much more. And they're the biggest applications for blockchain, for crypto, and Casper's a part of them. To remind those who may not be aware, Roy O'Neill of the KII has confirmed in an interview he did back last year, sometime I think in like October time, whenever it was, he confirmed that one of his financial institutional clients or colleagues or mates, if you will, a financial institution that manages between $20 to $40 trillion a year, who conducts 95% of settlements on Ethereum right now, he told them, with your $20-40 trillion you manage a year of customer assets on Ethereum, if you switch to Casper, you save yourself tens of millions of dollars a year. So that institution, that FI that manages a lot of capital already knows Casper could save them a lot on just the gas fees alone, not to mention the actual transaction itself, it being quicker and more efficient as well. And again, remember Casper are creating Ethereum-compatible sidechains or Ethereum-compatible layer 2s. So it means that Ethereum infrastructure and wallets and tools can be bridged onto Casper, meaning that $20 to $40 trillion financial institution could, theoretically speaking, seamlessly integrate into Casper and save themselves a lot more money and bring a lot more adoption to Casper and demand to Casper as well. Casper being the gas fee for the transaction taking place on chain or on the DAG, if you will. WarpCore is one of the biggest projects that I'm very, very bullish about. I highly recommend reading through their WarpCore post here. They also made an article on Twitter as well about it. The information to that are both available in my community here, the free community there. Just type in WarpCore. You see all the times WarpCore is mentioned in the community. But ultimately, the big thing about it is ISO 20022 compliant, which is the global messaging standard for financial messaging, which is, what Swift runs on. It's a very big deal. And that's going to bring a lot more adoption to Casper in regards to the cross-border payment sector as well. The KII is absolutely huge, and I think generally we are sleeping on it. I think it's going to be an absolutely game changer for Casper to bring a lot more institutional adoption, because right now, again, institutions run these markets, and they're going to bring a lot more to the space. So I'm very seeing, SEC give, the green light to Casper, followed by the KII and this sort of stuff as well, is equally extremely big stuff. This is why, again, I stay bullish on Casper, why I'm not worried about the short term and the current pullbacks you've seen with the markets continuously, why I'm not worried about there being no Binance and Coinbase yet on Casper. When you see these infrastructures and these institutions building on top of Casper, Binance will be begging to be listed in the project, because there's going to be so much more capital flowing to Casper as a result of it. Binance and Coinbase and them lot, they're great, but that's retail. The KII is purely focused on institutions, but as a unintended effect, if you will, by institutional adoption coming on Casper, retailers like us who realise the significance of that will be talking about that more, and that'll bring more retail into the space as well. So even though KII is only focused on institutional adoption for Casper and use case for Casper for institutions, that'll also be very, very good for the retail coming in as well, and that'll incentivize these big exchanges still to be like, okay, we can't miss out on this potential, money making opportunity. So they'll list Casper at the price that is deemed that winning in the market is good for it. Only a matter of time, and again, there's a lot more to cover today's stream. regarding Casper as well. We've got this part here, which is ultimately an understanding of the misconception of Casper and block DAO. We've got these posts here regarding MEV and mining again, and also much, much more. We'll get into the stream, but again, I have to answer questions real quickly. Firstly, Eternal Night, Batman, you're doing very, very well. Can I say that people sleeping on Kraken Exchange so much? They have such good fees and pretty good support too. I mean, ultimately, I agree, but I think the biggest reason why Kraken Exchange has got such low volume is because it's just a USD pair. It's not a USDT, it's not a stablecoin pair. So therefore, volume's just not high on it. If it was a stablecoin pair, I think you see a lot more adoption there, but it's unfortunate it's not. Everyone has more Casper than I. I mean, how much Casper you have is, neither here nor there. Everyone has their own different financial situations at the end of the day. Some people are much older than us as well. Some people are probably in their 50s watching this, maybe even older than that. And that's not me by any means saying, you're old, I'm just saying they've got the advantage of therefore being around for longer. They have their, built up savings longer. They have a different financial situation than we do. Everyone's got their own different situation. So the last thing I would ever say to do is compare yourself to others. It's the same thing as you go to the gym. If you go to the gym with a friend who's been going to the gym 5-6 days a week, don't try and match his reps and his weight. Don't try and compete with him. Go at your pace. Ultimately, you're still there, and the more you keep going, the more you keep grinding, eventually you'll be able to reach that sort of status or get close to it. People in my community I've heard who have millions of Casper holdings, fantastic. You guys are sitting very comfy right now, and I hope all of us do very, very well with Casper. There's some people as well who only have a few thousand Casper. Equally, that's perfectly fine. Everyone's situations are different. You've got to play to your own strengths. So don't worry about it, Wing Hong. I promise you, my man. My birthday on March 27th, I want a chocolate mint Casper cake. Yeah, I mean, I just want Casper to pump, so hopefully you can do that for me, Mr. Miles. What's up, Buffalo Thin Man? Hope you're doing very, very well. Welcome back to the stream. Got a break at work. Big up, my man. Hope you're enjoying the stream on your break. Let's moon in due time, I'm sure, Wing Hong, in due time. Right now, the thing to do when the markets are not doing very well is to keep researching more and more to build understanding of the space. I asked Jay if he'd get me a gift for my birthday. He said the gift was allow me to get to this age. Yeah, you're actually making me sound like such a mean person. You make me sound like I'm an actual criminal. Life is the greatest gift. Be happy. I'll allow you to keep yours. Quick crypto. What? No, wait, okay. First off, not quick crypto. Second off, I know that's a quote. Where's it from? I'm convinced it's a quote. I'm going to look that up real quickly on my second monitor because I'm convinced that's an actual quote. Who's that from? I don't know who's that from. But I feel like I've heard it before. Like some superhero movie or something like that. That's not me. It makes me sound like I'm a criminal. You gotta be swatted, I swear. Bitcoin with the Casper testnet, no doubt about it. I completely agree with you there, Jeff. That's what Dr. Walter Heisberg said himself. He talks big when you're chained to have the will in this basement. Yeah, he's the reason why you can watch the stream right now. He's giving me electricity right now for the stream. Have the will, powers the Casper miners. No, powers the stream. I've got my other basement for Casper miners, You're not that special. Casper with the political tech, also very true. How many of you have down there? It can't be you. No, he's by himself. I've got a separate one for the miners. 9 out of 10 on my meme coins dropped 9%. Yeah, majority of them would have dumped following Trump and everything else. I believe there'll be a comeback for them, but at the same time, many cryptos will end up falling off and be cannibalized because they have no real use case. A lot of memes will probably fall off as well. It's just how the market comes. That's why meme coins are very, very risky. That's why I, only invested in excess capital that I was willing to lose for meme coins. I didn't put any money that I thought I couldn't afford to lose, because otherwise that would have been, meme coins are so much more risky. 301,000 Casper, when I'll be a multi-millionaire. I mean, if Casper reaches $4 or $3.50, you're already a millionaire. If you want a multi-millionaire, it depends on what you deem by multi. You're talking anything above 10. I think multi-millionaires, anything above 10. That's how it's generally perceived. Then you're looking to see trying to do the math in my head. God, why am I struggling with math today? That's actually crazy. 3 times 10, 30. So you want to see a 30x from here. Or a $30 Casper, I mean. So $35 Casper or so. $35 Casper, for you to be have 10 million. I mean, that's a lot. Let's do the calculations. $35 Casper times 28.7 million billion. I did plus, not times. You want to see a $1 trillion market cap. So if Casper reaches a $1 trillion market cap, you'll be a multi-millionaire. In the next 10 years. I mean, yeah, 10 years I think is, $1 trillion market cap for Casper in 10 years with its, for the fact of the matter being that the KII, Roy O'Neill also confirmed that the energy sector in itself is predicted to reach $2 trillion by 2030, which is 5 years from now. Casper takes a proportion of that, with it having the gigawatt stablecoin and whatnot on the KII, then, I mean, yeah, Casper could definitely reach a $1 trillion market cap in the next 10 years. Or, theoretically speaking, you should have all the markets that evolve so much higher, if you will. What's up, John Domerman? Hope you're doing very, very well. Welcome back to the stream. What's your honest price prediction for Casper and the bull market is still on? I stopped doing price predictions because I think price predictions are a very, very toxic mindset, because it makes you think so much on the price prediction that you forget what actually is coming to the space in return to actual developments and stuff like that. I'll put it as plainly as I think Casper is going to do very, very well and surpass people's expectations this cycle. The prediction people are giving right now is 50 cents, $1, and I think it can surpass that. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give you where I think it can reach because, I mean, ultimately, I've mentioned when it got to around the time when Casper was coming down really, really heavily, everyone was just panicking so much about the price. I was like, you know what? I'm also part of the fault because I talk about where I think Casper can go. And while I still believe in those predictions, and my belief in Casper has not wavered at all, I think talking about price is just a very manipulative thing to do for yourself. Because I mean, of course, we want to think about where it can go from here, but you think only about price and not focusing about the actual developments. It can make you act emotionally as opposed to logically. It's very hard for people to be hearing a price action and still act on logic as opposed to emotion. You hear a price action, you think people were sold a dream. I say sold a dream, who knows that happens still. But people are saying $10 Casper this cycle, That's ridiculous from this point. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying it's ridiculous. And therefore, those who believe $10 Casper are now hating Casper because the chance of it reaching there is very, very small. But if you were just to understand that Casper will end up soaring much higher in value due to its developments, then, price aside, you wouldn't be bothered by it. Or you wouldn't be so bothered by it. But that's just my 2 cents again. Ultimately, if you want a price prediction, just ask me, do I think it can reach that? And I'll give you a very vague answer. That's what I've been doing. Someone says $2 Casper, I'm like, yeah, sure, I think it could do that. But I won't be giving like a whole massive in-depth thing again. The Buffalo 3 is $2 to $10. I mean, again, I think that's possible. That's it. I'll just say I think it's possible. What's up, Art Zimmerman? Hope you're doing very, very well. Any hope today, sir? Casper bag is struggling. I mean, yeah, the hope has been throughout the whole stream here. SEC giving the green light to Casper. KII is going to be a massive catalyst for Casper as well. Also confirming this here, that their working group is actively involved in the space with UAE, with tokenizing real estate, which is huge news. Casper is going to be tokenizing large buildings and also small solar parks as a part of a trial in Dubai, or the United Arab Emirates. So again, it's a very, very good thing for Casper going forward. And that's these sort of adoptions going to be, you're going to see in this sort of stuff. Well, maybe not on the surface because again, KII, they have their industry clients, but we'll understand that these sort of initiatives will be actually up and running this year, happening this year. That's how soon we are. It's not like it's going to take place in the next 2 to 3 years. This is happening this year. Confirmed it's happening this year. Because they're all ready to go. They're just waiting for the smart contracts. And there's a lot more coming to Casper again. So in regards to the miner being the big thing here, Coda Stuff here, one of the key developers for Casper here, highlights that your probability of getting rewards depends mainly on your hash rate. Think of it like every block, your probability of mining that block is your hour divided by network, your hash rate divided by network hash rate. In 1 BPS, there are an 86.4 thousand chance to win per day, but 10 BPS, you have an 864,000 chance to win. So ultimately, with 10 BPS, because it's going to be, producing 10 more blocks per second, 10 times, you'll have many more opportunities to win. So when people are saying 10 BPS will make you more money, yes, but not in the way people perceive it. It's not a case of you'll see more money made from mining blocks. You'll have more opportunities to mine said blocks, more opportunities to win. The reason solar mining therefore becomes better at 10 BPS or higher, because the variance of typically comes with the process is significantly reduced. So it means that actually solo miners will profit a lot more with 10 BPS. Again, it's a very, very big thing. We're seeing like the Red Panda Mining recently said he's shutting down his Casper miner because it's not profitable. With 10 BPS, he might come back again. And more might come back because you'll see, more ways to make money, more chances to make money, which is a very good thing as well. A video here from Sharby playing in just a moment now. Also talking about how Casper, which is a very big thing, something that is definitely been overlooked as well in this space, is how Casper and its MEV resistance is a crucial factor to help protect itself from bad actors and the operators layer 2s that are taking advantage of the actual infrastructure. Also talked about how while also being true decentralized proof of work, Casper is the most MEV resistant network to ever exist. And here's Shy with XXImpod or Ankit. If I butchered the name, I apologize. Breaking down the true motivation of 1 to 10 to 100 block per second here. So listen very closely to this little segment of the interview here.
Going back to the user, 100%. Is it actually happening anywhere? Any chain is trying to do?
I think it's a necessity. The only way I've seen to do it uses a multi-leader approach. It sounds to me that it should be theoretically impossible to do it in a single leader approach, but I haven't done the math. But since I don't know any chain that even implement a decentralized consensus that exists, that even has like a multi-leader, like in all of the chains you can think about, there is a single leader, in all POS, there is a round, and then you choose the builder, and then you have one builder that controls the block. Right? Even if you choose it, if you have like 100 blocks and you choose one at random, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, there is one block, and what's ever written in the block, it's what's gonna happen.
Which is, I think, why 10 blocks per second or 100 blocks per second becomes
That's
all of
the real motivation.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why I said
think that it's for throughput. They're wrong. If we wanted 10 times more throughput, it would have been much easier just to make the blocks 10 times larger.
Exactly.
We want this high parallelism.
Which is the key.
We want it for MEV, we want it for oracles, and we want it for a better fee market.
So my understanding of what Shah's talking about there is effectively just 10 BPS makes it a lot fairer. It provides more security as a result as well, and more fair, because they could have just increased the size of the blocks by 10 times to, generate more throughput to increase it. But instead they thought, we want to bring more protection, while also, so instead of increasing it just by 10 times, they thought we're going to create 10 more simultaneously. So it's a much harder task, I believe. Not that I know myself, but I can imagine it's a harder task. And Casper's doing it right now, and it makes it more secure and also more fair for the fee market and everyone else who's mining Casper as well. And the belief of Casper and and what it is as a project is also going to be growing more and more thanks to the KIF. While KII is fantastic and they're doing a lot of you don't know about KIF, of course, is being a lot more transparent due to the fact that they're not for institutions, which I love both initiatives. I'm very thankful Casper has both of them right now. And they have been sponsoring people, KF, they've been doing a lot more as well. And they also added a new research recently. More outreach and education spanning the globe, thanks to KEF. This event featured Elamia, or Mia, I've definitely butchered the name, I apologize. Teaching about Casper with on-site support with Monica Foreman. And booth sponsored by Casper Hype and Wolfie. It's great to see new devs, new researchers, and ongoing support for the Casper vision. The post here talks about, how Casper made its presence felt at the Web3 Global Media Conference in Amsterdam on March 13th and 14th, which was last week. So today, Elliot is officially one of KS granted researchers specializing in MEV and oracles. So again, two big factors for Casper, which is why it's such a good thing. He was talking here about how Casper does, how does Casper generate Nakamoto consensus? Or how does Casper generalize the Nakamoto consensus even? Breaking down why Casper is pushing proof of work forward in ways no other project is. And ultimately, where we connected with both long-term supporters and newcomers, it's great to see more people realizing that Casper makes a difference. So we're seeing, slowly but surely, but more and more of these events where you're seeing people within the industry, institutions, and many more from old and new starting to actually understand more so what Casper is. At the base layer, crypto is still a very, very new factor. Not a lot of people actually understand crypto. Think about politicians, right? Cynthia Lummis, announced that the political parties and whatnot, they're now starting to finally talk about crypto, which is great, but they don't understand it yet, even now. There's going to be, of course, more understanding in crypto at these events, because most of them are actually the institutions themselves, but it's still a very new niche, and Casper is one of the newest and most diverse niches in itself, because even though it's proof of work, which is dead, it's seemingly an art that's being forgotten about because Bitcoin's not scalable, Casper bringing it back and proving that it can still achieve what other projects are achieving while still remaining true to the security element and decentralization element of Bitcoin, which is something that's what Bitcoin was praised for, being decentralized and being secure. That's something that Casper can do while being scalable as well. So this is a good thing with seeing more adoption as well. This is what we need to see for more adoption. So my video earlier where I spoke about mass adoption incoming, this also plays into that as well, not just the SEC, not just the KII, also the KEF, and the developments coming to Casper will bring mass adoption. I believe we'll see Casper surpass expectations this cycle. I'm not saying Moonboy $10 numbers. Again, I'm not doing my position anymore either, but I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think it's just, again, I want to be conservative and have more realistic expectations, but I think Casper can surpass expectations this cycle because of the significance of adoption we can see of crypto this year, and also the market that Casper's trying to target, thanks to the KII and what they're doing as well. And in due time, you'll see many misinformed, and that's not necessarily a dig at anyone, but misinformed individuals come to learn the truth about crypto and Casper as well, the true truth, not the fabricated truth that's been pushed out by these certain circles, if you will. This post here from Money Lord highlights, imagine seeing this from Google CEO saying that KTA, also about how KTA is a very good project. Flux highlights here, of course he would say that because he's got pre-allocation, so he's going to do what he can do to push the bag up. And James Ball here, the individual in question, talks about how of course he will, and that's big, and that's all part of a good pump. It's also kind of a bit back and forth, just saying like him it's good for the pump, yes, him shilling it, but it doesn't make the project in itself very good. From what I understood from reading through this whole thread here, which I'll link in my community later today, James ultimately kind of deemed that crypto is kind of just a way to make short-term money, and it's not a future. It's got no future. That's how I see it. From what I've read through the stuff, the way I've viewed it, for some of his threads, it looks like he's kind of talking about how crypto has little to no future. Which to me is, I've done a hell of a lot more in-depth research from the institution, so what they're talking about, and I've disclosed the information in my community here, which goes into deep dive alpha information about they are bullish on crypto and AI and what's coming through it in the space. So if his narrative and his perspective is that crypto's got no future, well, I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening. He seems to be kind of highlighting more so about making quick gains, pump and dump. So he's looking for the projects that have the big names that are shilling the project, so he can talk about it and then move off of it. The statement he makes here, though, for me is a sign of the misinformation. He highlights here that the trilemma has already been solved by more than 10 blockchains. Make sure to get the newest one to pump to their levels. Always to get pump and dump, but trilemmas have been solved. That is incorrect. And Shai himself replied to this as well, saying, how is that? He's like, Casper's only solution, where every DAG blockchain has solved the trilemma. Like what? What protocol out there other than GhostDAG can scale proof of work? All of them. Name one. He names a whole load of old layer ones from Solana, AVAX, Cardano as well that apparently has solved the trilemma. And all of these DAGs, they have smart contracts Casper doesn't have. And for me, while it's a valid argument, I also deem it as a non-argument about Casper not having smart contracts, because those are coming out. They're literally coming out in the next 2 to 3 months or so, if not earlier than that. So Casper not having smart contracts, if there's no ideology to make them, then fine, fair comment. But they're coming out this year. So look, most of them are not proof of works anyways. That's also true, Solana's not proof of work. AVAX not proof of work. And those are not scalable. It's nice try, but well, actually it's a terrible try. What do you mean they aren't scalable? They have high TPS in Casper, and they have smart contracts. Again, I don't understand the point you're trying to make here. Casper is slower than them, and doesn't even have smart contracts. None of them proof of works in this list can scale down confirmation times. Hence, they can't solve the trilemma. And also, none of them have higher TPS than Casper. Proof of stake is inherently centralized, so it can't solve the trilemma. You haven't produced a single example in your wrong claims. And that's understanding that the misconception that's being made by James here, and I think a lot of people in this space also have that, because this space becomes so centralized. You see infrastructure layers like XRP ledgers and the Solanas and the Ethereums that are deemed as decentralized layers or decentralized infrastructure. There's a centralized authority behind them. They're proof of stakes. They are not decentralized, not truly decentralized at least. You know, they've got something behind it. So in that regard, it's not decentralized. They might call it decentralized, but if you've got a centralized authority behind it who controls it, then it's not truly decentralized. Casper's infrastructure is truly decentralized by the miners and controlled by the miners. It's for everybody. And again, you know, so that in of itself already disputes the trilemma argument, because they can't all solve trilemma if they aren't truly decentralized. And then some of them, of course, we know, like Ethereum. Ethereum is definitely not scalable. Solana has bad security. So again, for me, a pretty much non-argument here. You know, smart contracts will not reduce TPS in any way, where you're getting your facts from. So it looks like there was a post here that was deleted by James, I'm guessing talking about this as well, which, you know, Shai disputed that. He said because smart contracts bring a long list of issues and bottlenecks. Goes back and forth a little bit longer here. You know, he basically just says, look at IGRA Labs. And he's like, their discussions are very, very good. They're relevant. What matters is mainnet benchmarks and all that's fluff. You should know if you have any experience in crypto. It goes on. You know, I don't want to make a whole thing of here. Chad here, who's part of the Cas Media, Rhubarb Media team, ultimately just talks about here about, you know, this is why Casper's mission is to live in the real world and not in the crypto land, where people like James, and I'm not trying to throw FUD at James, I'm just highlighting that he seems to be misinformed, and he should probably do a bit more research into the fact so he understands more so the actual legitimacy of trilemma. The fact that Binance himself have made a post about solving the blockchain trilemma, and the fact that you can literally type in on Google, there's no crypto project, apart besides from Casper, that has confirmed, quote unquote confirmed, for the trilemma, because they lack the very fundamental thing of decentralization. If not, then it's something else like security and or scalability. You know, but he highlights here Casper's not here for the real world. It's for real world use case, while most are strapping rockets on Lambos and aiming for the moon, like James seems to be doing here, talking about the pump and dump and things. Casper sets its sights on solving real world problems for everyday folks for the betterment of all. Casper's aim very simply, crypto at the speed of the internet, with proven decentralized tech powering actual utility in the real world. Shah also made a post here, information I didn't make in my video earlier, made a post here, ultimately just giving a kind of a structural understanding of, you know, what is the, because he made an argument here, James, about the whole element of all DAGs are solid trilemma, but there's a difference between a DAG and a block DAG. A DAG is a data structure. Block DAG is blocked arranged in a DAG. All crypto projects at their base layer are DAGs, but a lot of them, because they couldn't deal with a whole web of, you know, blocks flying all over, they made it into a chain for efficiency, to make it easier. DAG structure, a concept that is not unique to crypto in any way, and it proceeds in modern cryptography in general by literal centuries. Block DAG is blocks arranged in a DAG, nothing more, nothing less. The only difference between a block DAG and a blockchain is that the former allows one block to point to several blocks. So the statements made in there ultimately just completely false about, you know, how a DAG cannot scale. That is just not true. Talk about how smart contracts are also, again, it's just a whole lot of holes in the argument to be made there, and that's ultimately why we're here every single day trying to look more into, understand more about crypto and Casper, trying to actually understand what is happening in this space, because it's very, very easy to be misinformed. And even then, me myself, I'm not perfect. I accept that much. I'm only human, as we all are. But that's why I have my community here who continue to bully me every day, but also continue to inform me, and we all inform each other and learn more about the space together, trying to learn more about what crypto is providing, what Casper is providing, and ultimately where the space is going as well. The markets right now are definitely a little worse for wear, to say the least, but I believe they'll come back in due time as well. And Casper's got a lot of major developments coming through. We're getting the clarity and the green lights from the SEC, from the KII, the KF, bringing more adoption to Casper. We are early. To say, listen, no, saying that even now sounds ridiculous, but Casper at 7.5 cents, 7.8 cents, we are early with Casper. Very, very early, and soon you'll see more mainstream media accounts start to post about Casper. Soon you'll actually people like James, who are misinformed, actually come to understand the truth behind the matter of what decentralization really, really is, what the trilemma really, really is. And when that comes through, you could very well see a massive shift. I don't think you'll still see people who believe that and understand, believe that having partnership with governments and corporations is more important because that gives you the extra, you know, injection of liquidity and support needed, and that is true. That is true, but being able to stay within the guidelines while also having no centralized authority govern you and control you is the perfect form of money we've been waiting for. Because ultimately right now, we are all slaves to a system, and Casper is a way to, quote unquote, escape the matrix, if you will. That's ultimately why we're here with Casper, and Casper has the connections already. While seemingly not a lot, they have significant connections already to, I believe, make a big impact in this space, and will then just start snowballing from there. I've heard $2 Casper, even $1. I mean, I'll be happy with Casper going up in general. As soon as it's past all-time highs, I'll be happy, and then from there on, it's just party time. I just want its adoption. It's the smartest money I've ever seen. In a matter of time, Buffalo, I'm sure. I think it'll be 8 cents to $1. Also, not a bad theory as well. I think it's also possible. If exchanges keep increasing buying Casper by over the counter, and then within the exchange start selling, can this drive down the price even if the buy is greater? I mean, exchanges can definitely send the price of Casper down further, even though on-chain trading on-chain buying is higher than off over the counter. So that is a potential thing. Yes, it can happen. But at the same time, keep in mind, exchanges, they're doing what they can do to make money from Casper. If they were to dump Casper heavily, they'd lose their way to make money through it. The exchange's whole premise right now is to make as much money from Casper as possible, send it down as far as possible while not destroying the project. Seeing the miners right now starting to leave, which is a good indicator that we're currently at an absolute bottom for Casper. Because if it goes any further, you'll see more miners leaving, therefore the actual integrity of Casper's project will start to fail as well. So this could potentially be deemed, again, anything can happen. We can see some more pullback from the market from Bitcoin coming down further. We have to wait and see still. Until Bitcoin breaks 96k, I'm not, I'm kind of waiting and playing a wait and see. The tier elements we'll be discussing tomorrow with C Crypto in the weekly live stream, the roundtable in my executive community here. We'll go into a lot more detail about the current market sentiment as well. So you want to check that out again. 7-day free trial. Come join, check it out. Link in the description chat, also my homepage as well. But yeah, I think ultimately the exchanges right now, they're playing a game with Casper, trying to keep its price low, but they're still, seemingly got a lot. I mean, there's so much belief behind Casper, like Binance in itself. That Binance alone, there's so many connections to Binance and Casper that, they might keep the price down, but it's a matter of time. At $10 I can finally buy a girlfriend. Wow. I don't think you can buy them anymore, but I mean, yeah, sure. It's good for us though. It's going to rocket after smart contracts. I mean, I think there's a good possibility of such. You see a lot more adoption, I'm sure. Price will have to wait and see, but I think there's a good chance. Again, we saw Cardano rocket in preparation for smart contracts, and Ethereum similarly as well. So why couldn't Casper? I'm just not going to stop packing my bags. Good man. Should be possible in the next 5 years for Casper to reach $10 price. It will put Casper at the current Ethereum market cap, or maybe even less than 5 years. Again, I'm not against the possibility of such as well. I think it also not. I think it's a logical theory as well. Eternal night. I am envy. I am envy. If not, I am envy. But why spell INVI? I'm sorry. That's not how you spell envy. You spell envy correctly there. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Be as it may. Someone who seems has good connection. Someone who I think is working alongside the KII mentioned. I'm not sure who. I don't see her as a part of the board members here, so I'm not sure which account it actually is, but she seems to be working with the KII. And she mentioned that, we'll see, they've been working on this project for a while, and all the way for smart contracts. Are we sure English was created by the Brits? Yes, but I'm just not very good at it. I just keep buying Casper until you're rich. Could take 6 months, could take 10 years. You can't go wrong with the faster proof of work failure launch layer 1. Completely agree. As soon as the rumors on Sompi being Satoshi with the groundbreaking tech goes mainstream, it's going to be crazy. Players won't be able to get enough. That's also true. Whether it's true or not, and even if we get confirmation, I don't think anyone could properly believe it. People will try to believe it, but as soon as Casper proves itself as a really strong and scalable Bitcoin, proof of work, the speculation that Tom Polinsky is Satoshi will start rising more so because he's chief what Satoshi couldn't do, and that'll bring more of the I won't say misinformed, but lack of educated people. Not saying they got a problem with it, but they haven't been people who are just kind of following the titles, who just see some Polinsky and Satoshi's gone to Casper, they'll just jump ship. Comparison is the death of happiness. That's also true. Also very, very true. Imagine Casper going to $400 this year. Who knows? Potentially. Not happening. I mean, not happening. Maybe not. But again, we have to wait and see. That's only a $100 to $125 billion market cap. That put Casper in the top 10, just short of top 10. So it sounds excessive, but it's not that far off. And it sounds ridiculous, but I'm not saying it's I mean, who knows? At the end of the day, it depends on the level of adoption Casper gets through the KII, KF, and the actual market in itself. I made that quote up on the spot. I'll take the compliment. Really? Huh. I was convinced that I heard that quote in a movie somewhere. Oh, fair play. Shakespeare-like. When the price go up quicker, once all the Casper's mined. What you'll see, Jason, is a supply shock. So ultimately, when Casper supply dwindles more and more and more, as the project itself gains more adoption through its developments and whatnot, the demand will outweigh the supply. So it means that there's more Casper that's wanting to come. More people want Casper, while supply cannot match that. So you just see the price as a result just continue going up in value. So when all the Casper's mined out, which is going to be, I believe, around 2037-ish, give or take, that will mean that when you mine the block for Casper, you won't get any Casper rewards. But when you mine the blocks, you'll still get rewards from the gas fees from the transactions. So you won't get rewarded Casper, you still get rewarded money from mining. Anyway, you'll get mining from the transaction on the blockchain, on the block DAG, on the infrastructure layer for Casper. So I wouldn't say the price will go up quicker, but you'll see, you might see more mining coming through. Just kind of have to wait and see. Really. I wouldn't say the mining will go up quickly. The price will start going up quicker due to the supply shock. When Casper's fully mined, there's another side of things, but then you'll see the miners start switching from Casper to the infrastructure. Well, they won't switch from Casper. They'll still be mining Casper, the Casper, blocks, and they won't get given Casper's reward, given the gas fees and the fees from the rewards as well. Why is there so many transactions now on the Casper network? Yeah, I'm actually curious about that myself. I'm not particularly sure why we saw a massive surge as such. We go to Casperlytics right now. We can have a look at that. We can see massive surge here, 515,000. We're seeing it's come out a little bit now, but we saw quite a big surge recently. I don't exactly know what's happening. I would imagine the only thing it could realistically be would be KRC20, but not seeing really a significant surge in any of these projects right now. Potentially it is the Casplex team, who could be doing. Remember we saw recently Chris Kang showcased a post where they were testing out the transactions, and we saw, where is it? Yeah. Set a transaction to Casper's layer 1 and the smart contract was automatically deployed on Casplex layer 2. So maybe we're seeing what's happening on the chain, basically more of this sort of stuff. Because there is a DevNet currently ongoing for Casplex right now and soon to be a public testnet. So maybe that's what's happening right now. Or we're seeing the volume going up so much higher. That's my current theory. I haven't had a better theory for that right now though. It's a tough one. No more locked up Casper for mining means relying on transactions to pay miners. If that isn't the case, the security tanks and the price will go as well. I mean, that's also true. If the transactions to pay the miners isn't significant enough, the miners will leave and that will tank Casper's price. But that's why we predict and speculate and hope that Casper will get a lot of adoption by the time we get to that stage, and therefore the fees from mining will be significant enough. And you'll have people like the KF and KII to keep Casper's adoption going up higher with institutional clients as well. You'll see more grids as well. I mean, right now, this could be a very good indicator that the proof of work mining actually is going to be a big thing. And Bitcoin mining is still going to be very, very big, which it will be. Casper might still be in a good space for that as well. Bitcoin is the decentralized peer-to-peer proof of currency concept. Ethereum is decentralized peer-to-peer proof of utility concept. Bitcoin to Ethereum equals Casper. I agree. We are only encrypted to make money. That's true. That's true. I agree. But I don't want... I agree, Eric. We are in crypto. We are in this market as investors to make money. But I'm guessing it's a response to my whole premise of not wanting to talk about price. I just don't. I believe Casper's going to do extremely well this cycle, but I don't want to end up coming out and saying, for example, I don't want to say Casper will reach $20 a cycle. Of course, it's ridiculous. I don't think it's going to reach $20 a cycle, but I'm not going to say that, and people could be like, oh, it's going to reach $20, so I'm going to see a 200x or whatever it is, 200x from here. I don't want to, because I think the premise of what's coming out for Casper will increase the demand and its price, is currently the narrative I'm trying to push in this community. That Casper's going to do very, very well. It's got a lot of adoption coming through this development. It's going to be a very, very highly sought out project in my personal belief. But if your whole sole focus is price action, then you would have been part of the people who got shaken out down here when Casper came down all the way down here. Because those who cared solely about price, they're the ones who sold here. Those who understand what Casper's actually building, while frustrated with the price coming down, they understand the price is going to come back up because what it's building is just so innovative. So my whole premise is trying to push that narrative as opposed to just saying Casper's going to reach this price. I'm happy to answer price predictions for other people, and I'll give a vague, like, sure it can do it, I don't believe so, blah, 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 blah. But I don't want to say Casper will reach this. Because I just think the whole premise of talking about price action can be a very venomous mindset. That's my whole premise of such. I don't want to give people false hope. I want to give people understanding of what the project's trying to build, and then you can determine from that where you think the price can go from there. And Sol is an affordable network. We will all have advantage. Yeah, again, Casper's going to be the best of all three: Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, whilst also being interoperable and be able to bridge to other infrastructure as well with the seamlessness of the virtual machines and whatnot. I thought the Casper that are being mined was diluted to the supply or being sold. Yes, the mine has already been mined. The amount entering the space from the mine coins today, the minimum is compared to what's already sold. Yeah, okay, thank you very much again, Mr. Mar, for that clarity. And yeah, that's ultimately what it is right now. It is being the supply. It's significantly less than what it was previously. And I forget about variable block size too. Also very true. Time to turn on all my PC miners. You've got to take all the capital for yourself, I swear. Actually, I've got 40 capital. I mean, either way, no, Andy, you definitely didn't get 4. You got, what was it? You got 1,638,101. That's your wallet. But either way, keep sucking that bag, my man. Love to hear it. What's up, young my man? Hope you're doing very, very well. Welcome back to the stream. Casper would at $1 to $5 would change so many lives. 100%. It'll change everyone's lives, I'm sure. At $2 I can finally tell my mum I'm not a loser. 10 I can buy a woman. Okay. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about when he thinks all DAG solves the trilemma. DAG solving scaling, nothing else. Casper block DAG though solves the trilemma. Yeah, again, that's Jason. That's James here, James Ball. He doesn't understand the whole premise of the DAG stuff. He thinks everything's a DAG, and no, the DAG in of itself doesn't solve the trilemma. The block DAG does. The DAG is just, again, as Shai highlights here, the DAG is simply just a data structure. That in itself does not solve the trilemma. The block DAG does, because it can be scalable, whilst also be decentralized and secure. Consider stream has a couple of minutes delay if we're talking about a trilemma when only non-proof of work that seems come too close is Algorand. I'm still not sure if Algorand can master Casper speed of 10 bps. I mean, yeah, I think Algorand is also not a bad project. I do like HBAR, Algorand. I hold XRP. I did purposely say I don't like XRP there because people have their own sentiment about XRP. I hold it because I do believe they do well, but I don't necessarily like them. But I like Algorand, I like HBAR. And I do think, they have their own benefits and their partnerships and whatnot. But I do think Casper with 10 bps for smart contract stablecoins will rock this space and probably cause a lot of eyes to start wondering. Something that, like the Visa network, could utilize the DAG, but it won't be decentralized. Yeah, exactly. DAG in itself is not decentralization. It's just a data structure. It's Casper's block that makes it decentralized. Hedera is fast and scalable, but super centralized. Also very true. I mean, yeah, Hedera I like purely because of their partnerships. But again, my conviction in Hedera is significantly less than anything else. Comparatively to Casper, my conviction in Casper is much higher than anything else as well. Your voice is annoying. Fix that lisp. I can't do anything about that, my man, because that's a speech impediment. If you don't like it, I have to say you just gotta find someone else to watch. Unfortunately, can't do anything about that though. The last person that said that fell off a central building. Okay, well that's just completely false. The high transactions for today is just testing the gigawatt stablecoin. Yeah, another making up rumor. I mean, you're good at rumors, Mr. Mars. I can't lie. False. I include crypto to escape fiat. Oh, again, yeah. Some people in crypto to make money. Some are to escape fiat. I'm in for a bit of both. I'm in crypto to make money. I'm in Casper to escape fiat. But that's my premise there. Anyway, that being said, though, because that is it for the stream today. I didn't have time to go through this post here. This post is available in my community, and actually Greg made a very, very nice summary of the significance of this. So definitely go check out the community. which again, links in the description, check out my homepage. If you want to be even more locked in, learning a hell of a lot more in-depth insight, more in-depth stuff we talk about in these streams every single day, go check out the community here, the WarpCore 7-day free trial. We'll be doing a weekly live stream, which will be going through international documents tomorrow. So go leave the link in the description, chat also my homepage as well. Also follow me on Twitter, you want to check out more of the posts we make as well. With that being said, have a great day, good evening, good night. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share, subscribe for more, and yeah.